everybody, Backyard Bullion here. Now today we're going to be tackling some of the biggest misconceptions around everybody's favourite yellow shiny metal, gold. Throughout history, nations, kings, queens, emperors and empires alike have flocked to gold as that wealth preservation tool, that monetary metal. And that history has led to a lot of misconceptions which are still held today in this modern world that we live in. And the face of gold ownership has changed so drastically in the last 20, 30, 40 years that some of them really are not necessarily as big a problem as people might think. So we aim today to talk about some of the big ones that I've observed and talk about why maybe they are not quite so valid. Please do take a second to hit the thumbs up button as we go throughout this video if you're enjoying it, and if you want to see videos from us in the future, hit that subscribe button with the alarm bell on. Now, the biggest single misconception that I get commented about is that gold is too expensive. Gold is out of reach of the everyday person. It is just too expensive to buy. Now, I'm not going to deny that gold prices are high right now. In my opinion, I think the gold price is somewhat irrelevant to gold ownership. I know that might sound strange, but ultimately I see gold as a long-term hedge, a long-term insurance against the value of your currency. So if you are planning to buy gold for those longer-term reasons, the gold price really means very little. Now, in terms of it being too expensive, that does obviously contribute to the fact that if you buy a large ounce of gold or a big Mexican 50 pesos coin like this, then it's going to cost you thousands of dollars, thousands of pounds, which is, I will agree, out of the reach of most people, unless you've got some significant savings or a boon and a bonus from work or something like that. It's not going to be something that you buy every month. However, there are so many different options out there in this modern world. Gold ownership has changed so drastically over the last 20, 30 years, and there are so many options. Fractional gold is a thing. You can see here we've got a half-gram APMEX bar here. You know, you can buy half grams of gold. I think you can even buy smaller denominations of gold as well. They are teeny tiny. They do come with premiums attached to them, and if you can get them for, you know, sort of spot prices, metal prices only, then you can get them at, you know, the cheap end of the scale. You know, this is half a gram of gold. It will be worth about £25, maybe $30. You can pick that up if you can find it for the spot price. So there are options. Finding it is, of course, the key. And fractional gold does come as a premium. It's obviously hard to manufacture in smaller scales, and it is not necessarily the best thing to buy if you are paying a lot over the odds. But there are other options, and that's the big misconception. Everybody thinks that all fractional gold is expensive and it's out of reach of people because it's got a premium attached to it. But there are so many other options. Sovereigns, that's where I want to start. Sovereigns are probably the king of fractional low premium gold, and people don't necessarily understand that. They think sovereign, you know, old historical coin from either from the 1920s or even earlier. Granted, this is a shieldback sovereign, although it has been cleaned and dipped, so it is basically worth just spot prices, maybe a little touch above. But sovereigns generally, apart from maybe some of the shieldbacks, are fractional pieces. They are just under 1/4 of an ounce of gold. Doesn't take a very, very long time to perhaps save up for this. Now, granted, saving up for metals is another topic in its own right, because you'll perhaps be missing out on potential buying opportunities if there's dips in prices and you want to put money into things. I get that, and I understand that, and I don't want to sort of sit here and say that you know, these misconceptions are unfounded, because there is a little bit of truth to it there, that, you know, if you want to buy fractional gold, you perhaps have to forward plan a little better if you want to get the best value fractional gold out there. You know, even older coins like this sometimes can go for cheapest chip spot prices. I haven't got the price label on this one. Have we got it on one of the other ones? Yes, so we got this one here, you know, bought back in 2019 for £267 if the camera ever wants to focus. You know, fractional metal from Hatton Garden Metals or other dealers out there, it's very, very easy to get. Even slightly larger denominations, you know, this half-ounce Krugerrand here, 1% over spot price from Shards here in the UK. So the big misconception that fractional gold is just too expensive, or gold generally is too expensive to own, is, I think, partly unfounded. I think that there is definitely practical ways to own gold that is not blowing all of your cash and your savings in one very large coin. You can get fractional stuff. Another good way is to look at old jewelry, old scrap, and everybody's favorite marketplace, eBay, is a place that you can pick up some really good priced old scrap gold jewelry. And if you know what you're looking for in terms of hallmarking and these little, it's very hard to focus here, but these little stamps inside rings, you can do this very easily and protect yourself very well and be able to pick up fractional pieces of gold at dirt cheap prices. So it's definitely doable, I guess is what I'm saying. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about, the next misconception, is that it's risky to own gold. Gold puts a target on your back. If you own gold, you're going to get robbed. People are going to find you, find your gold, hold you hostage and get into your safes. I mean, it's a big misconception. I think that's a relevant misconception. Relevant point. Owning gold does put your funds at risk. It puts the responsibility on you to keep things safe. That's probably as far as I would go about that misconception. Owning gold relative to silver, certainly in terms of the same monetary amounts, is so much more practical for storage, so much more practical for security. If you think about it like this 1 ounce of gold, the silver to gold ratio right now is approximately 85 to 1. 85 ounces worth of silver, close to 3 kilos worth. That's a significant lump of metal, and you need to have some very, very secure storage. And it's just not as practical. This is hideable. 3 kilos of silver is a fair old whack. And just to put that into perspective, here's a 1 kilo block of silver. So 3 of those compared to 1 of these. It is very easy to hide your gold. You can put it in nooks and crannies within your house. You can have false floorboards, ceilings, whatever you want. You can find a place for a gold coin. That is very, very easy to do. It is risky, but it's really not, in my opinion. In fact, I think gold is less risky. So in terms of being targeted, I mean, it is always going to come down to, your own personal safety and security when you're talking about gold, looking at gold, showing your gold, talking about your friends. If you're down the pub and you're saying, I bought a 1 ounce gold coin the other day, you don't know who's listening in the background. The sources that you buy your gold from as well need to be factored in and considered. Don't buy your gold from really shady looking, dodgy websites. Stick to the big dealers, buy it in person from local coin stores, these kind of things. But even that can be perhaps a little risky, I suppose, as well. If you could be targeted, followed home from a local coin store and things like that. So there are elements of risk. I'm not going to deny that. But I think generally the misconception that just simply owning gold is going to make you a target is not necessarily true. Now, there is another argument that people say that it's risky to own gold in terms of it being a commodity, a metal that fluctuates less so than silver. I mean, it's always been that silver is more volatile than gold, but it's still seen that gold is a bit of a risk. You buy it without the guarantee that it's going to provide you any return over time. That's another little misconception, a little tangent misconception that's going to that. I haven't put it down on my original list of 5 things to talk about, so we get a bonus one here. That gold doesn't actually yield you anything over time. It depends how you look at it. Yes, it's not going to give you a dividend like a stock or a share would, but ultimately it will outperform other investments, I think, in terms of retention of wealth. It depends on when you cash out, cash in, cash out, and so on, I suppose. But yes, that it's a small misconception. We'll put that to one side. The next thing I want to talk about is fakes, and the fact that gold is so much more easily faked and much more prevalently faked than silver. Yes, that is true. There are more fakes out there that are fake gold than there are fake silver. Simple maths. If you try and fake a large gold coin, then you are trying to make more money, because if somebody buys it, you make a significantly larger pile of cash than you would from a 1 ounce silver coin. Yes, I'll give you that. But in my opinion, spotting fakes, seeing fakes is actually a lot easier than people think. It's a misconception that it's so easy to buy fake gold and not realize that you've got fake gold. You can do home remedy tests. There are so many easy, non-destructive tests out there that you can do on your kitchen table like I do to show that your gold is real, and to have that knowledge is really, really key. There are, of course, machines that you can buy, Sigma machines, to help test your gold and protect yourself. I really don't think the fact that there are lots of fakes out there in this world is a reason not to buy gold. It's just about how you educate yourself, how you protect yourself. There are lots of ways to protect yourself. One of them is to steer clear of bars. Bars are the most commonly faked one, especially the ones in the assay cards. Coins are much harder to fake because everybody knows they are very well published, what the dimensions are, what the weights should be, what the designs should look like. They are standardized, they are mass produced like that. So they're very easy to check if they are genuine, and even just doing simple weights and dimension calculations on these coins will give a really clear indication whether or not something is real or fake. So in my opinion, the fact that there are a lot of fake gold items out there is just it's a non-factor for me. The next misconception is that to invest in gold, it has to be pure gold. It has to be 4939 gold. And anything less than that is not worth it because dealers won't want to buy it. People won't want to buy it. It's less favourable. I completely disagree with that one. This is probably the biggest misconception that I disagree with of this entire list, because loads of different metals out there, coins out there are made of different alloys of metals. This table is a menagerie of different metal types. In fact, we've only got 2 coins on the table here which are pure gold. These little miniature bars are, of course, pure gold as well. But anything from 22 carat, 90% gold. We've got a 90% gold eagle out here on the table. There's a whole range of different metals. Gold is gold. That is the thing that people majorly forget. That yes, if it's a different purity of metal and it has that sort of 22 carat status, or even down at the lower end, these rings here are 9 carat gold. Yes, that is still gold, and if you were to sell this to a scrap dealer or even just generally to a We Buy Any Gold place, they will give you the price of the gold content, and it's not difficult to work out the gold content in less than 999 purity coins. It's just a misconception that pure has to be pure, and if it's not pure, it's not good. Coins throughout history have not been pure for a very plain and simple reason. Pure gold is very easily dinged, damaged and dent. You only have to look at this rather tatty looking maple leaf to understand that over time a gold coin will see wear and tear. And its condition, that's another misconception. If you have a gold coin that is severely damaged and dinged and dented like this one here, it will still sell for spot price at a minimum usually, depending on where you sell it to and the how much time you take to sell it. It will get you your return. It will get you spot price. It'll get you perhaps a little bit more depending on where you sell it. And that brings me on to my last and final point about misconceptions, that gold is difficult to sell. And there's a few arguments around this, and it stems back to that first point that I made, that gold is expensive. Gold is so expensive, in fact, that it's hard to find people who can buy it because nobody's got enough money to buy an ounce of gold or 10 ounces of gold or a kilo of gold. I think that is, again, a huge misconception. There are so many avenues. Gold is so liquid. It is so desirable in this world. And despite conditions of coins and quantities of coins, there will always be buyers. There was a story on the Silver Forum of a Silver Forum member who sold 10 kilos, and that's kilos of gold, by the way, not ounces, 10 kilos of gold very quickly to a bullion dealer here in the United Kingdom. Easily done. Rang them up, arranged the sale, did the exchange, money in the bank. I think it took about 24 hours, 36 hours to get it all cleared. That is a big pile of gold, big chunk of change, £400,000 worth. In fact, probably more. I can't even remember what the maths worked out to be. Maybe 450, 500,000 pounds worth of gold. It is not difficult to sell. Gold is liquid. Gold has so much going for it in that desirability factor. More so, I think, than silver. Silver is a really hard metal to sell very quickly at the right prices, whereas gold has that liquidity, has that security of being much more desired and favoured on the marketplace. So that brings a close to some of the biggest misconceptions that I perceive to be out there around gold. There are others that I haven't even talked about. Potential confiscation of your gold. Owning gold is risky because at some point the government will know that you've got it and they'll come for it. Will they? I don't know. I mean, gold confiscation has happened in the past. The world has changed quite a lot since then. If it does, it's not like the Gestapo will be knocking on your door stealing your gold. It will be a buyback type situation. It's not really something I think people should worry about, but people do. There are others, and I'd love to know if you think that I've missed out any of these misconceptions, the big ones that you think that you hold dear, then please let me know down in the comment section. It'd be very good to hear from you. And if you disagree with any of my opinions on the misconceptions that we've covered in today's video, then please do feel free to also comment and tell me. I enjoy having fun, healthy debates down in that comment section. All that I ask is that you be respectful of mine and other people's opinions. A big thank you to the BYB Rambling Society for listening to me ramble on so far into the video. It really is amazing to have you guys and gals support the channel. Talking of supporting the channel, if you've not checked out the merch, there's merch links down below. Otherwise, we've got some fun videos stored for the rest of the week. We'll see you on the next one. Have a great week ahead, and please make sure that you like, share, comment, and subscribe for more.